I'm really a jazz pianist and composer. I'd never written a feature film score before, and I really saw it as an amazing opportunity. I saw the movie and I loved it, and I loved that it was science fiction without being really overtly science fiction.
Why did you come here?
I didn't mean to come alone, so why I came doesn't matter.
You tried to travel with another person.
I thought that'd be a great opportunity to use science fiction type sounds without making overtly science fiction music. The biggest thing I learned working on this movie is how powerful film music is.
Rachel?
I think I kind of realized that at an intellectual, kind of conceptual level before, but actually having these tools in your hands and seeing the emotional
Rachel?
tenor of a scene dramatically transform based on the music that you added to it is pretty amazing. And even if the viewer doesn't even notice the music, which is kind of your goal, is to be as invisible as possible, their experience of the emotion of that scene will be really dramatically changed. So that really kind of took me by surprise. And so a lot of my work here was finding what the emotion of each scene was and what it needed to be. And also trying to avoid, Mickey Mousing, which would be like being too obvious about that.
These get you into the apartment. I can show you how to use them.
The overarching mood of the music, I hope, corresponds pretty tightly to the overarching mood of the movie.
Is there anything I should be worried about her knowing?
Hopefully it captures that sense of foreignness, of things just being like, not what we know, being alien. Bodine's character there's something very optimistic about her, and she's a fighter and she's a survivor, but there's no illusions about the world.
Where'd you grow up?
Tampa? It's a town in Florida.
I have heard of Tampa.
And I think the sound what I created reflects that.
You like it?
In that there's a real hard edge to it. And even in some of the most touching scenes, for example, the first love scene between Bodine's character and the cop, where you actually have some kind of more traditional, like Hollywood-style padding being like long, sustained sounds. Even that, which is maybe like the most heartfelt and emotion on your sleeve kind of moment, has a kind of a twist to it. And especially because Bodine is singing in that moment, and the singing is almost in the right key, that really expresses the kind of sense of being off balance that you get throughout the movie, and that hopefully also communicates in the music. I just love works of art that leave space for the viewer. I mean, I really believe that art is in the eye of the beholder, and I get really irritated with works of art that try to tell you what they're about. And what I really love about this movie is that it leaves so much room for interpretation. I mean, on the surface, it's this kind of sci-fi story about time travel, but immediately for me, and I think for a lot of viewers, it's about immigration, the experience of people having to leave their home country and having to leave behind everything that they know. And then how do you engage with the new world that you're entering? Do you try to hold on to your past? Do you, at all costs, try to make it work for yourself? And when I say at all costs, that means realizing kind of ruthlessly that this new world is not your world, but seeing how you can use it? Or are you just naive? Are you idealistic? And are you hopeful in a way that ultimately is probably going to harm you? I think the thing about the movie that most is sci-fi is maybe the sounds that I'm using in the score, because otherwise the sci-fi lives entirely in the world of ideas. And I love that about it.
Do you think I can survive here on my own?
I think you'd survive for a long time, but not as long as you would with help.